Have you ever noticed how a simple phone call from a friend can completely change the way a day feels? The morning may start in silence with the same routine of coffee and medication, the same empty chair at the table, the same thoughts about yesterday's aches and tomorrow's worries. But then the phone rings and a familiar voice says, "How are you doing today?" Suddenly the air feels lighter, the room feels warmer, and your heart feels calmer. That is the power of friendship. And for seniors, especially those past 70, friendship is not just a pleasant extra. It is medicine for the soul, fuel for the brain, and one of the most powerful ways to stay mentally strong. Seniors across America quietly admit a fear they often do not share out loud. The fear of being left alone. After retirement, after children move away, after partners pass on, many seniors ask themselves, "Who will be there for me now?" Loneliness, left unspoken, can grow into sadness, into anxiety, even into physical illness. But friendship offers an antidote. Research shows that seniors with close friends live longer, have lower rates of dementia, and report greater happiness. More importantly, friendships give seniors back a sense of belonging, of identity, of joy. Let's step into the story of Nancy, a 74-year-old grandmother in Texas. Nancy's husband had passed away, and her children were busy with their own lives. She said, "Mornings were the hardest. I would wake up and think, what's the point? Another long day by myself." Then, one afternoon, a neighbor invited her to join a senior walking group. Nancy hesitated. She didn't know anyone and felt self-conscious, but she decided to try. That first walk, she was quiet, barely speaking. But by the third week, she was laughing with the group. "Now I walk 3 times a week," she said proudly. "I feel stronger in my legs, but more importantly, I feel stronger in my heart. I know people are waiting for me." Nancy's story shows that friendships can begin in small ways, a walk, a cup of coffee, a shared activity, but their impact is profound. Friendship works because it fights against the root fears seniors carry. Many fear losing memory, losing health, losing purpose, but friends remind them of who they are. Friends say, "I remember when you..." Friends laugh with them about old jokes, help them navigate new challenges, and remind them that even in aging, they are not invisible. Friendships say, "You matter to me." And for seniors, those words can be life-changing. Of course, some seniors resist. They say, "It's too late to make new friends. Everyone already has their circles." But research and stories prove otherwise. Seniors often make some of the most meaningful friendships later in life. Why? Because they no longer seek friends for status or convenience. They seek friends for companionship, honesty, and understanding. Friendships made after 70 are often the purest because they are built on shared humanity. Let's explore how friendships strengthen mental health through real stories. Joseph, an 81-year-old in Michigan, admitted that after his wife died, he felt numb. "I didn't laugh for months," he said. But then a friend from church started visiting weekly. They played cards, talked about baseball, and sometimes just sat in silence together. Joseph said, "That's when I laughed again. It felt like my soul woke up." Laughter is not trivial. It is a sign of mental resilience, and friendship is one of the surest ways to bring laughter back into life. Another senior, Dolores, a retired teacher in California, found that friendships helped her memory. She joined a book club. At first, she worried, "I won't remember the details." But discussing books with friends sharpened her recall. They reminded me of things I forgot, and I reminded them too. Together, our minds stayed sharper. Science supports Dolores's experience. Social interaction stimulates the brain, creating new neural pathways. It keeps the mind active, agile, and engaged. Friendships in this way are not only emotional support, but also cognitive exercise. Then there is the story of George, 76, in Arizona. George confessed that he often feared becoming a burden to his children. But his friendships reminded him that he could still give, not just receive. George began volunteering with 2 friends at a local food bank. "We joke while we pack boxes," he said. "It feels good to be useful." His friendships gave him purpose, a reason to wake up, and a reminder that his presence mattered. You see, friendships don't just happen, they are nurtured. Seniors who want to stay socially strong often take small, brave steps. Joining a group, calling an old friend, inviting a neighbor for tea. At first, it feels awkward, but over time, these small acts grow into bonds that sustain mental health. And the beauty of friendship after 70 is that it doesn't need to be complicated. A friend can be someone you meet for a weekly game, someone you share meals with, or someone you simply call on the phone. But why exactly do friendships matter so much for seniors? Science helps explain. Friendships lower cortisol, the stress hormone that damages the body when it stays too high. They release oxytocin, the bonding hormone that calms the nervous system. They improve immune function, reduce blood pressure, and even lower the risk of stroke. But beyond biology, friendships meet deep psychological needs. Seniors want to feel connected, respected, and loved. Friendships provide all 3. This brings us to practical ways seniors can build and sustain friendships. First, they can reconnect with old friends. Many seniors have lost touch with people from earlier chapters of life. A simple phone call, a letter, or even a search online can rekindle bonds. Mary Lou, 72 in Florida, reconnected with her college roommate through Facebook. "It was like no time had passed," she said. Their friendship quickly became a daily lifeline. Second, seniors can join interest-based groups, whether it's gardening, chess, music, or walking. Shared activities naturally foster connection. Frank, 90, in New York, joined a chess club. He said, "I may not move as fast as I used to, but every Saturday I'm surrounded by people who love the game. That makes me feel alive." Third, seniors can volunteer. Helping others not only builds purpose, but also friendships. Helen, a 79-year-old retired nurse, met some of her closest friends while volunteering at a library. She said, "We started by organizing books, but now we celebrate birthdays together." Fourth, technology can help. Video calls, online groups, and even social media allow seniors to connect despite distance. At a senior center in Chicago, widows formed an online support group. "We laugh, cry, and share," one woman said. It's friendship in the digital age. Fifth, seniors can cultivate intergenerational friendships. These bring fresh perspectives and joy. Nancy's grandchildren, for example, became her little friends. She said, "They remind me of the future, and that gives me hope." Seniors who connect with younger generations often feel energized and valued. All of these approaches remind us that building friendships is less about age and more about openness. Seniors who say yes to invitations, who reach out first, who stay curious, often discover unexpected joy. As we reflect on these stories and lessons, let's remember, after 70, friendships are not optional. They are essential. They protect mental health, slow decline, and nurture joy. They turn silence into laughter, invisibility into connection, and fear into hope. So tomorrow morning, instead of letting silence rule, pick up the phone and call a friend. Or walk outside and greet a neighbor. Or join a group where laughter can find you again. Because friendship, at any age, is the heartbeat of life. And now, I turn to you. Do you recognize the importance of friendship in your own life? Which friendship has made you stronger, calmer, or happier? Share your story in the comments. Your words may inspire another senior to reach out, to reconnect, to build new bonds. Share this video with a friend or loved one who may need encouragement. And don't forget to subscribe to Verdant Ears, because every week we bring you stories, tools, and inspiration to help seniors live with strength, connection, and joy. Friendship is not just company, it is medicine, it is memory, it is meaning. And after 70, it is one of the surest ways to stay mentally strong. Aging does not mean losing friends, it means discovering them again in new forms, with new depth. So let's stay social, let's stay connected, and let's remember, we are never too old for friendship.